The creature that we can choose to save or kill at the start of Scorn is a part of a group of strange, mutilated humanoids, bred as bodies to be utilized for assembly creators. They're so worthless to these assembly creators that they don't even get the respect of being given a name each. They are just Moldmen, not a glamorous name either. Once processed, they are referred to as Moldmen, and that processing stage is touted by Ebb Software as inhumane and excruciatingly painful. It involves pressing the body over a period of time and molding it into a packaged product, much like a cut of meat at the supermarket, and then leaving the remains to dry out into a usable nugget. Though this entire process, they remain alive, thriving in pain. Absolute torture. They are hens in the assembly factory farm. Who controls the assembly? We don't know who these others are. Probably the same populace that occupies Polis. But in saying that, maybe not. We don't have any evidence either way. These assembly creators have no sympathy for these creatures, and they look down upon them with disdain, disgust, and do not care for them whatsoever. This is further shown through the assembly battery farm with piles of dead Moldmen remains everywhere. In their eyes, the Moldmen are a cog in a wheel. In some instances, their bodies can become so tight together in mobs that they become fused together like a Rat King figure type. Last of Us 2 fans will know how horrifying a Rat King can truly be. Due to the conditions within the assembly area, diseases and infections are very common, hence why deformity is common amongst the Moldmen. Although most would call the Moldmen hideous or ugly, you may feel a deep sympathy for the creatures on your playthrough. The Moldmen are supposed to be innocent looking, says game director Lubomir Peklar. They are born into the darkness, and due to this, their pupils are wider than a normal being's, and they really do struggle with their eyesight. If you free the Moldmen, you will notice that walking isn't an easy task either. Their leg muscles aren't exactly getting used very often, so hence the stumbling over and the slow moving pace. They are also completely defenseless. They cannot act against anybody attempting to kill or harm them, and they are at the mercy of their beholder. As I mentioned earlier, our only real interaction with the Moldmen is at the start of the game, where we are tasked with that decision on what contraption to use on them, the scoop or the saw. And even though it seems we are either killing or saving him, that's not exactly the case. Some would argue when we free the creature with a saw, we're actually dooming him to an even more horrific fate, stuck in agony and despair with nowhere to go. As the door shuts, his cries linger the halls. And that's the tragic story of the Moldmen. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you want to know where I got this information from, it is the digital art book of Scorn. I highly recommend you check it out, read it. I believe it's part of the deluxe edition, or you can get yourself a hard copy on pre-order, but definitely check this thing out. It's incredible. They go into a lot about the lore and the story and how they created some of these images and their inspirations, and it is unbelievable. So I really recommend you check out that digital art book, and of course that's where I got all this information from in this video, guys. It's been my absolute pleasure. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.